In this video, I'm going to share with you a lesser known strategy on how you can get started selling private label products on Amazon for under $500. Now, a question that I get asked all the time is, how much money do I need to start selling on Amazon? And I typically tell people a number north of say $2,000 or $3,000 at a minimum. However, if you're sitting at home and you want to take advantage of this opportunity, but don't have that amount of money to start with, then don't worry, because today's strategy could be for you. So what is it? Well, we're gonna find private label product opportunities that have very low competition, and we do this by finding products that only sell a small number each month. So to summarize private label, this is where you take a generic unbranded product and put your own brand onto it and sell it as your own product. I like to utilize Amazon's FBA service, where you send the goods into one of Amazon's warehouses and they take care of all the picking, packing, shipping to customers, all of the fulfillment. You don't have to deal with any of that, which is really nice because it makes this business very scalable, as you can only sell so many items in a day if you're fulfilling them yourself. In return, Amazon takes a cut for providing this service, and it's typically up to 15% of the sales price. So let's go through an example of finding one of these products. We're gonna be using Jungle Scout, and I'm gonna show you some of the examples inside of the Opportunity Finder. So now I'm inside of Opportunity Finder. I've selected some categories that I like. Now over to the filters. As I mentioned, the way that we find these less competitive products is by looking for products that don't sell too many per month. So let's go to average monthly units sold, and let's bring this right down. Let's go under 100, I'm gonna go around about 70. For the average monthly price, I'm gonna make that at least $15 and go down to a maximum of around 50. Now with the competition on this slider, I wanna make sure this is down to very low. Now we'll come down to search. All right, so now I'm just gonna scroll through and see if anything catches my eye, and then we'll investigate further. Got Pikachu pillow, we'll stay away from anything that's licensed. As we come down, Super Brain, Las Vegas puzzle. Essentially, I'm just looking for anything that sounds simple, not too many moving parts. Essentially, it's just fairly easy to manufacture, or it seems like it would be. Also, a lot of the time, things that are a little bit strange or not as common tend to do really well on Amazon. Those are the sorts of things going through my head as I'm scrolling through this list. Real quick, are you getting value from this video? If so, give me a thumbs up down below to let me know that you're enjoying this video. Even consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon so that you never miss any videos like this. Thank you so much. Let's get back to it. We'll keep going. Stainos. Plant mug. That one sounds interesting. So it looks like it's got a fairly consistent sales history. That's good. Average 62 units monthly sold. Good price of $16.10 and very low competition. Let's check it out on Amazon. Okay, we'll take a look at what we've got here. So obviously plant mug. You'll see a lot of them are selling for that $16 or $17. Looks like a lot of them are selling for that price. That's great. So what are the steps at this point? Firstly, we found a potential opportunity within Jungle Scout. Then we've opened it up on Amazon. At this point, you could run the Jungle Scout extension. Let's do that. This helps us examine the niche even further. So now we've got an idea of the average reviews across all of these listings. We can see all of the top listings at a glance. It looks really good to me. It looks like they're all very, very low in reviews. There's one here with 75, but all the rest are quite low. It seems all of these listings do get some of those sales. So it looks like the sales are fairly well spread out, which is great. So now what's the next step? The next step is a bit of a viability test to see if this is even a possibility. And what I mean by that is seeing how cheaply we can source this product, and specifically source it from AliExpress. AliExpress is different to Alibaba because on Alibaba, you typically need to order large volumes of product. Essentially with AliExpress, you can order very small amounts. And so it's great for this type of opportunity where you're just trying to get started with a low minimum order quantity and just a low amount of capital to begin with. So I'm over at AliExpress. I'm gonna type in plant mug. That looks right. Search. Awesome. Looks like they've got lots of plant mugs here. This one looks really nice. I'm just having a look at the prices at this point to get an idea again of whether this is going to be an opportunity or not. This one here is fairly low at $4.20, but it actually looked like this one here at $3.04 looks really good. So let's open this one up. We can see here that there are a variety of different designs, which is nice. I think they're pretty nice designs. The price is $3.04. There is a shipping cost here. So the average monthly sales for this product is about 60. So let's say that we'd order in, say 50 units of this particular product to begin with. I can just bump this number up to 50. So now let's figure out our total cost. So that's 50 times $3.04 plus $137.35 for shipping. Gives us $289.35. If we divide that by 50, that gives us a unit cost of $5.78 to get it to the US, or let's say to get it to your house. So this was about $5.80. I'd say by about $7 per unit to get it all the way into Amazon. So let's use that figure, $7 per unit to get it into Amazon. The next step is to come back to the extension here. We're gonna use a tool called the profit calculator. So if we go to one of these listings at about the price that we're looking at, one of these $16 ones, and then we wanna come over to the net amount. So let's come over to the net amount here, and if you click on this number, it will bring up the profit calculator. Here's where I can enter a product cost and a sales price and find out exactly what my profit would be. So let's do that here. I'm gonna put in $7. I'm gonna leave the product price at $16.99. So that comes back at $4.25 profit per unit. Remembering that I've only spent 350 bucks at this point, getting $4.25 back per unit is pretty good. Before moving on, I'd play around with the prices a little bit just to get an idea of, say, worst case scenario, but let's say it was more like $8 or closer to that number, then I can see my profit, and now it becomes $3.25. At this point, it's starting to get a little bit minimal, but even still, that's not too bad. I'd definitely be hoping to keep this under $7.50 or like under $7 ideally. So this is just an initial viability test to get a ballpark idea of whether this is possible or not. So from these calculations, I think this could be a possibility. So now let's dive into this particular product a little bit deeper. So if I close this one down, I'm gonna look at the description of these mugs and actually see whether this is really the same kind of mug. I can see that this one's selling for $16.99 is an 11-ounce mug. 11-ounce ceramic mug. If I come back to our friend on AliExpress, I can see this is also a ceramic mug, hand painted. Let's see if we can figure out the size or the capacity. 350 mil. Google tells me it's 11 ounces, so we are looking at the same mug. Now I wanna continue digging a little bit deeper into this product before I decide to actually go ahead with it. So if we come back to Jungle Scout, I'm going to explore some of the other information that we've got here. So what's really great about Opportunity Finder is that you can see all of this historical data. We went through some of the historical sales data here, which is really great to see how it trends over the year. You can see it definitely has a bit of a spike during December, presumably as a gift, but it still seems to sell reasonably well throughout the year. So that's good. One of the things that I'm checking for right now is seasonality, okay? This is another great check to do when you're doing your own product research is how seasonal is a product. If I click on seasonality, here we've got search volume information from throughout the year. So you can definitely see that the search volume increases during December. It's definitely a gift product. It does look like it still has some amount of search throughout the year. So for me, that's positive, but we can still do a little bit more digging. What I'd like to do now is add some of these listings to the product tracker. Let me go over to the tracker. So what this allows us to do is track products on a daily basis so that we can really verify the sales that these listings are getting. So what I'm gonna do is come down here, I'm gonna add a new group. My marketplace is in the United States, and I'm going to give it a name based off of the keyword, which is plant mug. It now gives me listing suggestions down here. I'm going to check the box and select all of them, come down and create and add products. I've successfully added 20 new products. Keep in mind that the other way I could have done this is directly from the Jungle Scout extension. You'll notice here next to these listings is a little plus sign, which allows you to add these directly to the product tracker from here, or the method that I just showed you. Now we track products in real time, so these particular listings aren't displaying any information just yet. So let me give you another example of what you can see here. So if we open up the parfait dessert cups, feeling kind of hungry now, let's open up one of these here. So now you can see the daily sales as you hover over each day. And I'd recommend tracking these listings for at least 1 or 2 weeks. The reason being, if I was to only look on this particular day, you'd see that there's 2 units sold. If I look at this particular day, there's 6 units sold. So that doesn't really give you a good idea of the average number of units that this particular product sells for. But when I'm looking over a longer period of time, you can more clearly see what the average daily unit sold, which in this case is 4 units. If you come to the top of the product tracker, you can see that you can extend the date range up to 60 days. Let's do 30 days for this example. If I come back down, now we can see how the sales have tracked over this period of time. And so this is the data that I'm going to be looking at for all of the plant mug listings over the coming week or so to verify the number of sales that they get so that I can be certain that it's worthwhile selling this particular product. So to recap the additional product research that I've done, I've checked the seasonality, and I've also added a bunch of these listings to the product tracker to verify their sales. This is the overall process I go through when looking for one of these opportunities. Now moving on to next steps. Once we've found a product, we've ordered it from AliExpress, and now it's being sent to our home. We package it ourselves, doing a quick Google search. Here's one packaging option that I found for 24 cents per unit, but I'm sure there's other options out there too. So now we create our listing on Seller Central. If you haven't got an account already, you can sign up as an individual if you're planning to sell less than 40 items per month. Otherwise, I'd recommend a professional account, which is $40 per month and gives you access to things such as Amazon advertising. Once you have that, we create our listing by going to Catalog, Add Products. Because we're selling our own brand, a private label product, we'll select I'm not adding a product sold on Amazon. Select our category. I'm just gonna search mug, and that'll give me the best suggestions. Coffee mug. Now at this point, you need a product ID. Typically, this is what's called a UPC barcode, and you need to purchase one of these to assign to each product or product variation that you're selling. Now, there are 2 places that you can purchase these. The official place is called GS1, and it can be quite pricey. The other option are third-party companies that back in the day purchased a whole bunch of UPC barcodes, and because of that, they're able to resell them much cheaper individually. Now, Amazon have come out and said that they only accept UPC barcodes from GS1. However, we've talked to a lot of people who still use the third-party UPC barcodes, and it's been totally fine. So really, it comes down to your risk tolerance. If you want to be absolutely safe, then going to GS1 is your best option. However, if you want to save some money and you're okay taking some of that risk, then you could try one of these third-party sellers. What is good about this particular low-cost private label strategy is that we're not spending thousands of dollars on our goods to begin with, so from that perspective, there is less at risk. But ultimately, you need to make that choice. Now, give your product a name and then you can create a brand name. Now we don't want to spend money customizing or changing our product in order to keep those costs down, but selecting a brand name is important because you need a brand name in order to register for Amazon Brand Registry. This is a service offered by Amazon that allows additional features such as enhanced brand content, videos, and more. In order to get this, you need to have a trademark for your brand name. So as you can imagine, if you're planning to add more and more products to your lineup, you won't want to apply for a trademark for every single one. Instead, I'd recommend you select a more general brand name so that if you do choose to get a trademark and enroll in brand registry in the future, then you only need to do this once. I want to state though that you don't need brand registry to begin with, but it is something worth considering in the future. Once you've created your listing, you can now start building that one out. And we have some great videos on exactly how to optimize your listings that you can check out. When it comes to photos, you can also save money by doing this yourself as well, which we also have a great tutorial on. I'll add in a dummy image for now. With your listing set up, you can now create a shipping plan to send the product in from your home to Amazon. To do this, go to Manage Inventory. From the drop-down, select Send Replenish Inventory. Create a new shipping plan. The address here would be your home address. This means that you're shipping lots of different items all together. In our case, we're just sending the one product, so we'll select Case Packed, add our number of units, continue. Some categories require more prep than others, but in our example, there's no prep needed. Continue. On this page, you decide who's going to apply Amazon's FNSKU barcodes. This is the barcode that's required to be on each product and is different to the UPC barcode. That one is required once in order to create the listing. At that point, an FNSKU is generated, and this barcode is required to be applied to every single unit that you sell in order for Amazon to identify that it came from you and what it is. You can apply these barcodes yourself by printing the labels out here, or get Amazon to do it for you for 20 cents per unit. Continue. Amazon now tells you the location to send the products to, give the shipment a name, and continue. Work on shipment. Here's where you select the shipping into Amazon. If it's under 150 pounds, then select small parcel delivery, select Amazon partnered carrier to get their discounted rates. Now I enter in the boxing information. I'd probably have one big box for all 50 units. Now, if I already have the mug, I can calculate the weight, or I can see if the weight is on AliExpress, or failing that, go back to the extension and select the weight of a similar sized product to give us a good idea of what the weight will be for our mug. So taking this estimate here, 0.9 times 50 equals 45 pounds. I can estimate the box size the same way, taking dimensions from either AliExpress or competitors on Amazon. Confirm, then calculate. This gives us Amazon's shipping cost. It's $17.45 or 35 cents per unit. We can accept these charges, print the box labels, which need to be stuck onto our box, and then complete shipment. So now I've got a much more accurate idea of the profitability of this product, and considering how little it costs to get started, I'm pretty happy. Of course, there'd definitely be better opportunities out there or worse ones. It's a matter of spending the time doing the product research, performing the quick viability tests that I showed you, and estimating the costs as much as possible before you pull the trigger on the product. But if you do put in this work, you can find these little opportunities to get you started on Amazon. And so that's the process of finding private label opportunities on Amazon for under $500. Now, I know we often talk about private label, and I know that we often say you do need a significant amount to get started. Normally at least $2,000 or $3,000, but usually the more you can start out with, the better. And typically that's true. That is the method that I personally prefer. However, this is another way that you can get started in private label, and you can make a decent business out of it. Some people do make a healthy business from this business model of taking low volume products and selling lots of them. compared to the typical private label business model, some things to keep in mind are that if you go this route and you are selling more products, that does mean dealing with more inventory and making sure to keep all of those products in stock. So that is one additional challenge. But the really great thing here is that you can get started for a smaller amount of capital. And also, because you're looking at products that don't have as many sales per month, that also means that there's less people in that space, as most people are looking for those products that sell at least 300 sales per month, like we typically talk about. So to summarize the strategy that we went through today, you're looking for products that have very low competition. You can use a tool like Jungle Scout, and we're doing that by finding products that only sell a small number of units per month. Let's say 50 or 60 units per month. By doing that, you're finding these less competitive niches, and then you're finding those products or sourcing those products somewhere like AliExpress, where you can order a small minimum order quantity. You get that shipped to your house. You can then just put the products inside of like a poly bag or something and then stick on the FN SKU label in order to send it into Amazon. You can then use Amazon's discounted freight services to get it that last distance into Amazon. You're listing these products with no modifications, no severe branding or anything like that. You're keeping the costs as minimal as possible in order to maintain your profit margin. Now, you might only sell 20 units per month, but the thing is you continue to add more and more products like this until you start making a healthy amount. And this is a really great way to get started and learn the private label process. Now, there are people out there that have their entire business like this, with lots of small volume products that all together are quite significant. So you could make an entire business of that, or you could start out like this because it's a low cost startup into private label. And then as you start to rake in more profits, you then put that into larger orders and then go down the more typical private label route. And that's it. That's how you get started with private label for under $500. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you going to try private label for under $500, or are you going to wait until you've got a little bit more to invest? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.